by the government for election campaigns and laid claim on the streets continued to stay on the streets after the unbelievable election results were announced. Protests against the declared outcome of the election reminded, but new demands were added to it as the demonstrations went on despite intense suppression, and as earlier demands remained unanswered by the government. The demand for the freedom of political prisoners and the freedom of speech and assembly were made at a time when several thousands of people were arrested in the post-election gathering, while a large number of the leaders of reformist parties as well as well-known journalists were also put behind the bars and tortured. When it was revealed that more than 100 people had been killed in the course of the demonstrations and in detention centers, the demand for putting their murders on trial was added to the list of the demands of the popular movement. Shortly afterwards, the issue of the rape of political prisoners came to the fore. Some of the victims broke their silence, and Mehdi Karoubi, one of the two reformist candidates who had always worked within the framework of the Islamic government, took it upon himself to publicize the events related to some of the victims. This led to the question of rape and other forms of sexual abuse in Iranian prisons during the last 30 years to be made public for the first time. When the Islamic government, and in particular the leader at the top of it, rather than attending to the protesters' simple demands, such as impartial examination of the evidence related to election fraud, intensified the suppression of the protesters, many protesters drew the conclusion that democracy and freedom as the central demands of the movement were incompatible with the framework of the existing political structure of the Islamic Republic and its constitution. Thus, the claim